that Africans, when we become Canadians, we seem to want to be more Canadian than Canadians. And yes, when we become Canadians, we appear to want to be more Canadian than Canadians. Forgetting that the reason we are here is to add the African flavor to the Canadian experience. So culture is important to me, and I also am sure it's important to you. So the question we want to ask is, how do you plan to promote and preserve the Liberian culture in practical terms? Share with us your view about Liberian culture and how you will preserve and promote the Liberian culture. And like I said, we will reverse the order. You will go first, Ralph, and then we'll go through again. Ralph. Who is Ralph? Ralph, yes, you go first this time.
So, how we will promote Liberian culture in Canada? I just want to point out to something that we are doing in Kitchener. Kitchener is the only community that usually have a multicultural dish for people to come and eat different cultural food. But we will also engage with other community, African communities within Canada to showcase the Liberian culture and introduce the beautiful culture Liberian had.
So when it comes to promoting the culture, we need to recognize the fact that Liberia is not just the oldest African nation, but we have one of the best cultures. No disrespect to other countries, but we have an amazing culture, especially when it comes to our food. Now, Edmonton has taken it one step further, and in the for the past few years, the past 2 years since the COVID, we have not been a part of it, but we showcase our Liberian culture under, it was during Mr. Boomer's administration, but I worked closely with the team that did the showcasing at the events, and we won first place 2 times in a row. So this tells you that we have it online, and it's something that I would really love to promote, because to be honest, I'm proud to be a Liberian. And I would be happy if we can be anywhere that people will recognize us and say, yes, Liberia has done it again. So events, showcase, and any chance we have or any opportunity, even inviting other superstars and other people from back home to here to display the culture with the region.
Thank you very much. So I would say this is not new. It's already going on within our community. And Edmonton have, just as my colleague said, have been doing that. But I'll also mention, I have served as the paramount chief of the Global Association of Canada. And we've carried out we've displayed our tradition and invited others. As part of my plan for this election, when I take over, I intend to have our traditional festival and blend it in with whether it's with the natives, like people from within Canada. And this is going to be alternated between the French and the English, maybe Quebec, and that decision is going to be made by the community. So there are a whole lot of things that have made our culture so rich that we need to display and people don't know. In fact, one of the ladies during our conversation, because of our interest to engage this, indicated even the female baseball that we play in Liberia, that's something we could showcase. It's probably not part of sports here, but we could promote that. And our tradition, we are planning currently right now as part of the Global Association, but we need to open it up to the latter organization. We are planning to host an occasion, a program, sometime June or July next year. It's still being planned. And so knowing all of these and what we've done, there's a need for us to to integrate within the Liberian community.
I just want to claim the indulgence of the audience. Just one more question from this side, and we'll come to your side. I hope that's okay. This theme is, I think, also very important to every organization. The theme is resource mobilization and sustaining life. You can do a lot of talking, but if you don't have the fuel, it will not happen. So I will start with you first. What strategies will they employ to ensure that the organization has sustainable funding and financial management? So how do you, with these your programs that you have, plans, how do you intend to fund it?
Thank you so much. I'll first start off by the progress we've made when it comes to fundraiser. You can compare any Liberian community or association, whether in the US or here. We were able to raise over $300,000 for this association to be able to serve over 500 Liberians, whether family, single mothers, and so forth. We also were able to raise $30,000 and sent to Liberia to support people with developmental disability. In addition, we were able to raise $10 to support people in Liberia. $10,000 to support the orphanage in Liberia. So we have a background in doing that. There are other sources we can tap into, including, I know we've been having some donations from individual cities, and that is very vital. And this was approved by everyone, and I just wanted to mention that because it's also a source of revenue to this organization.
Thank you very much.
So how we're going to fundraise for LAC, or for me, it's not for LAC alone. It's for the entire community across Canada. I have the experience of doing that. We're going to fundraise by looking for avenue where we can find funding, grants, but also fundraise among ourselves to be able to support our people. Now, as I said, I run a not-for-profit organization, and I also serve as president for ALEC Kitchener. Over my time as president for ALEC, we raised over $100,000. Over $100,000. For my own community, my own not-for-profit I'm serving right now, we have raised over $200,000. I'm using that money to run different programs within the community. Not just for Liberians, but also the African community, because what? We want to create space for our youth again. So when it comes to fundraising for this community, I will not be fundraising just for LAC itself, but for all the local community across Canada, because I want the benefit to go there.
Once again, the question was how we'll be raising funds, if I'm correct. Now, here's the deal. We all acknowledge the fact that there will be government grants, there will be ways of getting money from the government. That is part of the society that we live in. But majority, we need to come away from the fact that that is the only source of revenue. We need to come up with ideas within and amongst ourselves. One of the simplest and easiest methods that this can be done. If we look in this room, there's probably 50 or 60 business owners in this room. What if we were to integrate all of these people's websites or the businesses onto our site? And every time one of us patronize them, our association get a percentage. Wouldn't that be an ACT. Think about it. Better yet still, we had a brotherhood mysterious guest house that we all will travel and go if we don't have a place to stay. What if we integrate that business in Liberia until we can get up to the means to build our own guest house there? And people went there and used that facility and we got a percentage of it. Wouldn't that be something amazing for us? Think about it. Why we should always say, oh, our only source of income is grants and going to the government. The government has crisis right now. There will be budget cuts. So does that mean we should limit our programs? Let's think about it, people.
Okay, so now we have asked. Now it's your turn. And like my colleague mentioned, we've given you 4 themes, and I'll read them again. The first one is fostering unity and community growth. The second one is youth and women empowerment. The third one is promoting Liberian culture. And the fourth is resource mobilization and fundraising. And they've answered questions around that one. So it's your turn now to ask. One of them will probably become your president. So if you have any burning questions around what they responded to or any of these things, it's now your turn. Just indicate by raising up your hand. You just want your name and you go straight to the question, 30 seconds. So the floor is open for audience participation. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yes. So you know 1. So we go with number 1. After number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. So you gentlemen,
my name is James Wright. Honorable gentlemen, I listened to your response to those questions I asked. I have few questions. I know our association is about young. Is this going to be our 3rd electoral process, including excluding the interim? So I want to ask, and this question goes to all of you. You respond to them. So I want to ask you guys, what do you know about this association in terms of its functionality? How is it functioning? Does it have the requisite people in those various cities you think you can use, or that will be feasible to work with whatever platform that you are handing down to them?
Thank you. You can decide the order who wants to go first.
Yeah, yes. Anybody can take it.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. Very good question. Our honest answer to you will be no. We need to develop the manpower. We need to develop the human capital. We need to put people in place that will pay things down. One of the problems that we face in this administration right now is that information will not streamline to the bottom. And then outside of the board. And then when it reaches to the board, it's not for decision making. So if the people in the bottom do not or are not given the chance to deal with the issue and get their own to this vote at that time and make it to law or the bylaws. But I think if we develop the human capital, that's why I said earlier on, we need to bring more people on board. And as we bring these people on board, we will train and educate them to the level in which we want them to operate or in the level in which we want them to work. There are so many skilled professionals that can do it here, but we have to take the step to lead them and make them to where we want them to be.
As he rightly said, we need to bring people on board. But the reason is, right now, under this administration, it's just the level of the executive. We need to engage with the local community. The power need to come from them. The decision need to come from them. So, if we just sit down and say that we should continue to lead with us spreading the power to the local community, engaging with the local community. then we're not going to go anywhere. Then we will not have the kind of community we envision. Because the community, when you say Liberia Association of Canada, it's not just the executive. For me, in my view, is the people themselves.
Thank you. So I would say, again, I'll add, ironic, because, and I'm proud, I'm glad that my colleague here indicated that he's on the board. And if decisions are only coming from the administration, then I'm not sure whether my colleague knows the role. And I'll also mention my other colleague there, because if you look at the hierarchy of the organization, it's the board, the president and the administration, and the regional vice president. Which my colleague here have served as a regional vice president, and if there was anything that hampered the functionality of this administration, I think he has a huge say. He should have put it to a halt. But just to answer your question, so given the structure of the organization, we work with communities, and I will give an example. We had our first leadership seminar, whereby even members of various communities took part. It was during COVID, and we all went on there. It didn't distinguish who went on there, whether board or leadership or whoever. And as part of my plan, this is something that we're going to carry out. If you look at my plan, you will see that in there. So we are going to be having seminars to empower our local leaders, our board members, and even the leadership, because oftentimes we put people in a position and we assume they can carry out the work. Even if they can carry out the work, there's still a need for that development to build upon whatever expertise they have. And so as part of my plan, just as I've indicated, this is something that we're going to put some time into so that we can strengthen our organization.
My name is Gerald. Honestly, you are part of the leadership in Edmonton. For the 2 years I've been in Edmonton, Liberian community have not participated in the World Heritage Program. That we were 2 times winners. We just spoke about it. And because from my experience, from what I gathered from the ladies, that every time they won, the leadership failed to come back to them. And they got discouraged and stopped participating. Because they stopped, but we are no longer participating. I went to the program this year. And that's the information I have. Now that you are taking up the leadership, how now can you convince us, having been over Edmonton, and the leader, they will be filled with the twice, and nothing is being done. How can you now put it on a larger scale, as you said?
Okay, first of all, that question would have been specifically for Edmonton. I am no longer in the leadership of Edmonton. I used to sit on the board representing Edmonton on LAC. But as the president of LAC, it will be my duty in my home city or my home city to encourage them, because guess what? I was one of those who served on those 2 times that we won. I was one of those who started, like I said, it was during Mr. Boomer's administration, we decided, it started mine, and then Mr. Boomer took over, when we were accepted into that program to represent our country and heritage. And it was through our instrumental efforts that we won twice, okay? Now, when we say that we didn't come back to that, there was always the program chair that came back and tried to host series of appreciation for CUP. But everyone's schedule was conflicting. And we could not have a solid event. But still, they were taking out to a restaurant and appreciate it. So for them to say that they were, I don't know where you get information from, but that information is, that's what I'm saying, it's not totally correct, because they were appreciated. My position with LAC, right? I will encourage Edmonton to definitely enter the race, enter again, because that is where they can showcase
the beautiful Liberian culture. So I will encourage them to go back into it.
Yeah, number 3.
Yep. My question is pointed to Mr. Ralph Mendoza, and it centers around because it centers around accountability, and because we talk about raising money, but we also want to know how to spend money. And Mr. Ralph, you serve as president for Kitchener 2 terms. During your leadership, were there any time you published an audited financial for the public of since Kitchener is registered as a public not-for-profit organization, if not why? And my second question has to do with when you serve as financial secretary for LAC while it was flagged. Can you tell us why you refused to turn over the checkbooks to the then president, Mr. Hine, when you left the position?
Now you want me to put it to the out of the bag. I will put it outside. Now, let's start with Kitchener. Every money that we got in grants from the government, we were able to inform our people and make a clear financial report for them to understand, not the one LAB usually give to us in 1 day space. Okay? We put it in clear financial writing for them to understand. Like if you're growing man, you know, fellow man, you'll be able to understand that financial report. That's the kind of financial report. That's the kind of financial report we gave to our people for them to be able to understand. If you talk about audited financial report, and they're not doing an audited financial report. And you know the reason why? Because I was not required to do audited financial report to the funder. They were asking for internal financial report. And I gave it to them. I also share with my community. Now, what was the next question?
My next question, but then before...
No. I will answer that question. I have to answer that question.
I know, but just before, I don't want it to be a dialogue, but we need clarity. And I see people from Kitchener is nodding their head, meaning that I understand because it has to do with accountability, and we want us to trust our resources.
Can I answer your second question, and then you can come back, right? What are you see people nodding their head? Let me answer the second question. Thank you. The second question, you said why I refuse to turn over the checkbook to then President Mr. Hine. Let me tell you, when I was serving as financial secretary, I did not own any checkbook. I fought with Mr. Hine to get the checkbook from him. He said it right there. I fought with him. I said, it's not your job to keep checkbook for the community. And I fought with him, he was able to make that checkbook to me. After Leo took over, Leo came to me personally. I hand over the checkbook to him. He's here in the audience too. So that's what if you get any information that I refuse to tell what checkbook Mr. Hine, that's a false information.
Well,
number 4. Getting there.
Good morning, please. My question is directed to Mr. Ralph. You talked about raising 200,000 for our life. Kitchener. Have you published any financial report after this 200,000 was raised to the current leadership?
That's your question?
Yes.
So let me just correct you. I didn't say I raised for 200,000 for Alec. For my own non-for-profit, Hope for Community Development, I said I raised over 100,000 for Alec.
I'll rephrase my question. When you serve as president for Alec, have you turned over your financial records to the present administration?
Let me be clear. I'm not doing business like the way business is running within the Liberian Association. We have a financial secretary that do her job. It is not my responsibility to turn over financial record to the current president. The financial secretary, I'm so sorry she's not here today. She will be the best person to answer that question. She's not here today because her son is not well. But she turned over all her financial record to the new administration. Not me, but the financial secretary. Because I like to give people the chance to do their job. Thank you.
Number 5.
Yeah, number 5, yeah. I think I'll also down from there. My first question was to talk about within empowerment. I just want to know how this is very cardinal when it comes to organization.
Exactly.
The accountability, financial accountability is very, very cardinal. This, we shouldn't just walk on it. If we don't have a solid foundation, how can we progress? So,
thank you. Can we?
I think we should clarify that.
Yes, I know. I know. I know. And that's why I took the microphone. I want to encourage us. It's important that we get engaged, but we want to do that following a process. I have said we will take questions in batches of 5. After that, the next 5. So just, yes, we will take, because this is one house. And again, I want us to also do this with all due respect. We have a right to know how our organization will be run. We also have a right to make sure we do that in the right attitude. And so that we don't be a divided family, whoever wins. The important thing, I know we want to make sure that those who say they want to serve us, that we question them, and they also know that when they start serving, you guys are going to hold them accountable. That's the spirit with which I want this question. And so I think that we'll follow in that line. But whoever, everybody here who has a burning question, we'll give you the opportunity to ask them, because people who offer themselves for leadership, they deserve to be interrogated, and that's what we are not doing back home. So don't feel that he's my friend, or don't feel offended. I want us to take those questions in good faith, and as much as possible, let's accept whatever answer they give us, because that's the answer they provide to us. So number 5, you have the floor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think, how many questions can we get? 1. Okay, Robin, we talk about him being a leader. They have something to do with leadership, right? So you've been away for a while. We have been seeing you in places like the Women Convention, because you talk about women empowerment. We had a great women convention. We didn't see you. You didn't show up. I don't know how you supported them. I just want you to tell us why you've been away and how you're going to support women if we can see you. You wasn't at the women convention. That's one. My next question go to. Can I continue? Yep. Mr. Dakota.
Answer my question first?
No.
Yeah, you told me personally that you raised over 175,000 for Kishina. And today you say you raised 200,000. Personal organization. Okay. 175,000. I have 3 questions in that. My first question is, when did you raise your first fund for a land? Second question, when did you launch your organization in Africa? The one you did in Liberia, which I think I know about. And who in this house from Kishina can prove that you raised over 175,000 and can prove that you did a series of programs for Kishina? That's what I want to know.
Okay, just so I'm clear, your specific question was, I was not present at the women's event, right? Okay. No, one house, for saying that, one house, and the reason why I said this is before the women event, we had a convention. I was present at the convention. And before that, every other convention, I have been the only person representing my city at almost all of them. Okay? My dedication to Last Tennis for 2019, I ran against the current president. And in that, like I told you, remember when I'm 16 speech, I said my word is my bond, and people here can test it. I promise that by losing, wasn't going to scare me away. I will remain with luck, I will walk with luck, I will fight with luck. And that, I'm still here today. I missed the women convention because my wife had had a major surgery that I could not be there. However, they can attest to it, I supported them.
Yes. Yes.
That I wasn't just for the president. And on the day of the event, the day before I spoke to the chairlady, the day of the event I spoke to her. She and I even made a joke. I said, I will not be there for you to taste in your beautiful dresses. She's here, she can attest to it. So for you to say I'm happy president, that is
No, you're good. We'll have the floor.
If I get your first question right, you said when did I raise my first grant for Alex? My first grant, which was $33,455, when we raised for Alex in 2020. And your second question, if I can point to someone.
Your second question was to launch the organization in Africa.
I'm not launching. I did not launch my non-for-profit in Africa. What I'm doing in Africa is I get to know what kind of programs or what kind of help our people need in Liberia. And I identify to help the visually impaired people in Liberia. Now, my organization has been helping these people for the past 3 years. Now, we have developed in a way that we think helping them with basic need and food, it won't be sufficient for them. So we have come up with a plan and a project to be able to pay a learning and living facility for the visually impaired people in Liberia, which we are having our first fundraising program in